The reigning national champion Blue Devils are looking for a 2-0 start to the season, while the Bryant Bulldogs hope to quiet the crazies and spring the upset in Durham. The 2K Classic continues tonight on ESPN. It's the ACC on ESPN. Hello, everybody, and welcome inside historic Cameron Indoor Stadium. I'm Ryan Craig alongside Chris Spazzola. Chris, the Blue Devils going back-to-back to start the regular season. A fairly comfortable win over Siena, 18 points last night. Tonight, a Bryant team that not a lot of people know a lot about, but they were picked to finish third in the Northeast Conference this year, did have a first-place vote, and they were runner-up last season.
They were, and Duke's familiar with the NEC. They played Robert Morris in the first round of the NCAA tournament last year. Bryant, they lost, like you said, the league's leading scorer and a guy named Diami Starks, but they returned 3 starters, and head coach Tim O'Shea has built a winning tradition here with this program. A tall task here in Cameron tonight. If they can get it done, they'll certainly make history.
Yeah, Starks a 3-time All-League player, so they're going to have to replace his production. Speaking of lost production that needs replacing, the Blue Devils lost a ton off of last year's team. 3 guys headed to the NBA early: Tyus Jones, Jolly Okafor, Justice Winslow. Quinn Cook graduates. They're going to have to replace a lot if they're going to have more success this season.
Well, points, rebounds, defense, you name it, they're going to have to replace it. But how do they do that? It starts with 4 guys in their starting lineup that played meaningful minutes in that national championship game. And of course, this guy right here, Grayson Allen, was spectacular in that final game of the season. Had 26 against Siena last night. Doing a lot of that right there, attacking the rim, knocking it down from the perimeter. A lot of what Duke does this year will start with that guy.
Yeah, Grayson Allen, one off his career high, had 26 last night. He had 27 against Wake Forest last year, 20 of those in the first half. Another guy that's going to have a big season for the Blue Devils, there you see on the screen, Brandon Ingram, 3rd in the 2015 ESPN 100, part of Duke's 2nd consecutive #1 rated class.
He's one of the most unique players in the country. We've talked at length about how long he is, but he is unique. And I always say you've got to have guys like that if you want to win big. He can score at all 3 levels. He can really handle the basketball, finish at the rim. He can do it all. He's a pro, Ryan.
Ingram named to the first-team All-ACC in the preseason, also the preseason Rookie of the Year. On the other side, Dan Garvin, he's a junior, was an All-League player this year, first-team All-League in the NEC. Preseason coming into the season, he's going to have a huge game and season for the Bulldogs.
Well, they're going to need him tonight. Their front court is accomplished. It's really the strength of what they have coming back. Garvin, an elite athlete, is a terrific rebounder, and he's their leading returning scorer. So, look, anytime a team from a conference like the Northeast Conference comes into here to Cameron, you've got to have one guy who steps up and has a big night. Garvin potentially could be that guy.
There you look at the starting lineup for both teams. Familiar faces, 4 of those guys, as you mentioned, for the Duke Blue Devils, playing pretty big minutes in the national championship game. Brandon Ingram joins the crew. And there you see the Bryant starting 5. We already mentioned Garvin, the other 4 that will join him. Before we begin tonight, we would be remiss if we did not recognize and pass along our condolences to those that have suffered overseas, the tragedy that has gone on in Paris. A moment of silence held before the start of this game, so certainly best to everyone, the families of all of those that lost a loved one involved with that. As we begin things here in Cameron Indoor Stadium, number 5 Duke, Bryant trying to become a team with only the 6th win in NEC history against the ACC, and it starts with a turnover. Koster took steps.
Duke forced 17 turnovers last night in their game against Siena. And Coach K and their staff believe that this Duke team can be very good defensively. They're showing a lot of different looks this year. They start to man. You'll see some contain in the 3-quarter court. They'll play some 1-3-1 zone. So they're mixing it up. But when you have 4 experienced guys, sounds crazy with Grayson Allen being one of those as a sophomore, but when you have 4 experienced guys, I always believe age can help your defense.
Quick foul called there, and it's part of the emphasis this season. That's going to be a charge on Brandon Ingram. And so 2 quick fouls, 1 from each way. Emphasis placed on the hand check, getting the arm on the player. That one went against Coster, but then Ingram picks up the player control foul. They call him for a charge, and they'll head the other way.
Yeah, again, the defender's moving there. The emphasis is, as long as he's got 2 feet facing the ball handler and he's in a guarding position, he gets the benefit of the doubt there, but that's a tough one.
Duke trying to trap. They force Bryant to play at a quicker pace than perhaps they wanted to. Garvin puts that one through the legs of Coster. A couple of turnovers early for the Bulldogs. They're going to have to stay away from that, give up easy points to the Blue Devils.
Well, you got to take a deep breath if you're Bryant. Yeah, it's a big moment for them. You're in a historic place. Just take a deep breath, slow down.
Grayson Allen, his first shot attempt, just a bit off. Got into the lane a number of times last night against Siena. Ingram straightaway 3.
It's interesting. Ingram was 1 of 9 last night from 3. Perhaps the only thing he didn't do real well last night was shoot the basketball, but he does have that ability. He's got an effortless release.
Duke just 6 of 25 from beyond the three-point line last night. Didn't matter much in the overall scheme of things, but as you start to nitpick against perhaps overmatched opponents, that's something they'll want to improve for sure. As Plumlee dives on the floor and Duke is out in transition. And that one going the other way one more time. Second time we've seen the Blue Devils call for an offensive foul already.
Yeah, and that was a charge. That was a good play by Coster. Here, he just anticipates where Grayson Allen is going.
So Coster has been involved in all 3 foul calls. 1 on him, he's drawn the charge on the other 2, so he's been active early.
And here's that containment. 1-2-2 containment press by Duke. You put that length up there at the top with Ingram.
You called it, Chris. Ingram forcing the turnover there so long at the top of that zone, and now the ability to initiate the offense. As we play just about 2 minutes here, Blue Devils leading 3-0. Marshall Plumlee, and now it's Ingram again. Grayson Allen needs to be careful not to pick up a second offensive foul. Emil Jefferson is held in the paint. That one on Garvin, his first. Helter-skelter start here. 4 fouls early. A lot of fouls called last night. Tend to see this in the beginning of seasons when they're trying to emphasize rules. A lot of whistles blown.
You know, Duke's shown a nice ability to drive the basketball, though. And, you know, this is a year where if you're going to drive it, the rules favor you. I mean, there's another example. You are going to get the benefit of the doubt. You might as well drive it and put the pressure on the defense.
2 minutes and 19 seconds in. We've had 5 fouls called. Allen thinks about the 3, gets into the paint, kicks it out. Matt Jones. Jones 1 of 4 from beyond the three-point line last night. And he'll try his first tonight. Long, Marshall Plumlee chases it down in the corner, and the Blue Devils reset. Emil Jefferson always solid around the rim. Plumlee the offensive rebound, too much on that one. And back the other way come the Bulldogs.
Everything but the finish. I mean, Plumlee 2 old boards on that possession right there. He's showing a really nice knack going to that offensive glass. He's got to finish.
Garvin tries the 3, and Ingram comes the other way. Kind of an amazing note in that this is the 2nd straight season that Bryant has played the defending national champion to open up the regular season. Played UConn last year, ends up playing Duke this season, testing themselves early on in both campaigns. Still just 3-0. That 3, Hunter Ware ties it up.
You know, Hunter Ware last year, we've talked about De'Ami Starks. Ware played behind him, so his minutes were sporadic, but he can really score. And there you see, just steps in off that wing ball screen.
Ingram with the finish. His first points, now 5 points. He's got all of Duke's points on the evening.
When Ingram gets within 4 feet of the basket, he extends those long arms. It is very difficult to alter his shot in any way.
McLaughlin tries to feed it into Garvin, and another loose possession for the Bulldogs. As we go to break, We talked about Brandon Ingram in the open, number 3 in the ESPN 100, hitting a 3 there, and his team leads 5-3 here in Cameron. Cameron Indoor, Duke leads 5-3. What a night of college hoops we have for you from the United Center in Chicago on Tuesday. It's all on ESPN, 7:30 Eastern, first game of the State Farm Champions Classic between number 2 Kentucky and these very Blue Devils. Then at 10, number 4 Kansas and number 13 Michigan State for the top 15 teams in the country. Coverage begins Tuesday at 7 on ESPN, also streaming live on Watch ESPN. And 3 out of those 4, Chris, in the Final Four last season. Certainly the marquee non-conference event in college basketball at this point.
It is. The tradition of all 4 of those programs, unbelievable. And of course, 3 of them in the top 5 again this year. And I think once people start to see how Michigan State evolves, I think they're a top 10 team as well. So what an event that's become.
Blue Devils will have the ball here up 2. And what has been kind of an ugly start, really, for both teams. A couple of turnovers each side, some offensive fouls, missed shots. Duke just 2 of 7 to start things off tonight.
Well, both these teams in unique circumstances. Bryant, their first game of the year, and Duke playing in a back-to-back.
Plumlee prevents the offensive rebound at first, but Garvin with a chance at a 3-point play and a Bryant lead.
You know, mentioned Garvin, a terrific rebounder, a good shot blocker, and it all starts with what a great athlete he is. You look at his body and just, you know, again, pursues the play here. Marshall Plumlee gets a hand on it, but Garvin stays with it, showing a little emotion after the finish.
And Garvin at just 6'6", leading the team in blocks last year with 48, led them in rebounding as well. He was second on the team in points, so he can do it all with that 6'6" frame.
Well, in their final 14 games last year, Dan Garvin and Koster averaged a combined 25 and 13. So those guys have given them production.
Yeah, Koster earning a start in the last 12 games, shot 45% from 3 in those games. He will be relied on quite a bit for the Bulldogs. A free pass into the lane and the conversion by Hunter Ware, his second field goal.
It's a nice job by Ware. He showed you, I mean, he believes he should be scoring the basketball.
Well, this Bryant team absolutely believes it belongs. As you mentioned in the open, Chris, Robert Morris kept this thing close against the Blue Devils, a team that eventually won the national championship in the first round last year. And Bryant finished ahead of them in the regular season. So they're not going to be scared about what they're seeing tonight at Cameron Indoor Stadium as the Blue Devils take a 2-point lead. Shot fake there for Riley. Garvin down low. Grayson Allen. And the Blue Devils come away with it. Allen still looking for his first points. Ingram the 3.
Well, it starts with the pass. I mean, Grayson Allen uses the little drag screen there in the early offense. Brandon Ingram kept his spacing, and what a heads-up play by Grayson Allen, a nice delivery. Ingram
struggled a bit from the field last night, 5 of 16, but a quick start for him, 3 of 4, including 2 of 2 behind the 3-point line. He's got 8 of Duke's 12, and Matt Jones comes back the other way. Allen to the right side of the paint, tries to lob that one up there, nothing doing. He's 0 for 3 now from the field. Good hustle there, though, by the sophomore, although Bryant will retain possession.
Yeah, Grayson Allen, a guy you almost want to have him playing bubble wrap. He throws his body around, but here's his 3 right here. Just the spacing off the break is disciplined by Ingram. And then Grayson Allen with his head up makes a nice bullet pass cross court right into the shooting pocket.
Mentioned that #1 recruiting class in the country. 3 of the players that were part of that class checking in: Chase Jeter, Luke Kennard, Derek Thornton. Derek Thornton actually skipping his final year of high school eligibility to come in this fall. Did miss the summer in order to complete all of his academics to allow him to enroll early at Duke. Both teams going to the bench early. Good look down low. Chase Jeter tries to keep Petway off the glass, but can't. Nice finish inside for the freshman out of Rhode Island.
Bryant doing a nice job playing off, just moving without the basketball. Petway finds open space underneath the rim, and it's starting with the rotation out of the ball screen for Duke. Some Miscommunication, Bryant taking advantage.
Under 13 to go, Blue Devils by 3. Bryant 4 of 7 from the field to this point, taking good high percentage shots. Thornton tries to get in the lane. That lefty floater is good.
We talked about what a good driving team Duke has been in the early going here, and it all starts with the spacing. I mean, the drives are set up by creating that spacing. 4 guys out there on that perimeter.
That's going to be on Brandon Ingram, and that will be 2 on Ingram. So Coach K with a decision to make about what he'll do with the freshman. It looks like he will come to the bench as Emil Jefferson getting ready to check back in. That early charge call now coming back to haunt the freshman just a bit. Garvin working on the smaller Thornton. Nice dish to Petway. That one's rejected by a couple of different Blue Devils, and Kennard comes the other way. Straightaway 3 off the back rim. Matt Jones spots up from in front of the Bryant bench.
You know, one of the things, these threes, even the missed ones, are creating long rebounds. There, Matt Jones alert, gathers it, and steps in confidently to his shot.
Third three-pointer of the night for the Blue Devils. First for Matt Jones. Ingram's got the other 2, but he's on the bench with 2 fouls. And there's a 3 from Zuzwa as the Bulldogs answer on the other end. 17-12 the score.
Zuzwa out of Brockton, Mass, played at Boston Trinity. Extremely athletic, says head coach Tim O'Shea. Can really defend there, showing a little bit of the range.
Jefferson trying to work on Garvin, does have the length advantage. Kennard looks to Jeter, gets his own rebound and draws the foul. Definite size advantage inside for the Blue Devils. Under 12 minutes to go here in the first half. Nation's number 5 leads by 5. Cameron Crazy's happy so far with what they've seen. Their team is up 5 here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Even though the Blue Devils have not shot well, under 40% thus far, but they have the rebounding advantage, 12-4 at this point.
They've been really active here. Emil Jefferson just getting after it. He and Marshall Plumlee done a nice job solidifying the paint on those offensive boards. And we mentioned the long rebounds on the missed threes. Duke the first to the ball, gathering those and scoring off of them.
8-1, the offensive rebound advantage right now for the Blue Devils. It has led to a 6-point advantage in terms of second chance points, and that's just about the difference that we see on the scoreboard right now. 17-12, with 11:19 to go in the first half, and Chase Jeter at the free throw line shooting 2. Jeter winning a gold medal with USA Basketball, the 2014 FIBA Americas Tournament. Played 11 minutes in the season opening win over Siena. 3 of 4 for the free throw line last night, and hits his first tonight. Duke applying pressure full court. Zuzwa brings it up against Grayson Allen. Garvin against Jeter. Baseline. McLaughlin kicks it across, stepping out of bounds though was Zuzwa. And it'll go the other way. 7th turnover of the night already for Bryant.
You know, Duke played on that possession right there. The ball screens much better. Emil Jefferson staying home underneath. Bryant at times, because of the size disadvantage, slipping a lot of those screens, assuming that Duke was going to be really aggressive in playing them.
Grayson Allen drawing the foul there on Petway. First on Petway. It'll be the 5th on the Bulldogs.
Yeah, here, I mean, that is going to be called 100% of the time. As soon as you put a hand on a moving ball handler, that will be called immediately.
Sideline out of bounds for the Blue Devils. Kennard comes off the screen. Allen into the paint one more time. Lefty floater is good.
Well, you watch that game last night against Siena. He went to his left hand on 2 or 3 occasions to finish.
McLaughlin the other way. It has been Duke's rebounding that has given them the opportunity to lead this game. Bryant, though, continues to create good opportunities for themselves. They've hit 5 of their last 7 shots to stay in touch here in the first half. Grayson Allen draws the foul, something he figures to do plenty this season just with the style that he plays. But lucky for the Blue Devils, he's a good free throw shooter, hit all 8 of his attempts last night. Well,
and as a team, they were 26 of 36, so they shot well, got to the line 36 times, and it goes back to the driving of the basketball.
Duke 1 foul away from the bonus here with over 10 minutes to go in the first half. Allen good on the first. Here you see the damage that Grayson Allen did to Siena last night. Again, 1 point off of his career high.
I'm telling you, I mean, this is the year to drive the basketball, especially in the early going. And these officials, I think, are looking for a reason to blow that whistle. Put the pressure on the defense, force them to have to guard without putting their hands on you. How about that shot block?
Marshall Plumlee, interior defense. Grayson Allen gets into the lane, and another foul called. Yeah. That'll be the 2nd foul on Skoka. And you mentioned it, Chris. Allen is just seeking contact each and every time down the floor.
It's what makes Grayson Allen such a difficult matchup. I mean, because you can't back off. I mean, normally you'd say back off. Here's this block on the other end. Great timing. Size over the smaller player.
Really, these rule changes, they are tailor-made for a guy like Grayson Allen. Just the style that he plays, always trying to get into the lane, trying to get to the rim. A lot of the rules that they are enforcing tightly, especially to begin the year. It remains to be seen if they call those same fouls in February, March, and April. But for now, at least, it seems like a great opportunity for Grayson Allen to create some offense. Allen will take a seat. Coster. Now it's Garvin. Duke has kept him relatively in check. Nice pass down low. And Skoka draws the foul. Garvin drawing the double. A nice dish there underneath the paint.
Garvin's done a nice job. He's only 6'6", so he's playing well undersized, but he shows the ability to pass it here. Little crab dribble, turns his back, and then a nice delivery. And late rotation from Duke. And Skoka, again, heads up, moving without the basketball, gets himself to that foul line.
Just the 2nd free throw attempt for Bryant on the evening. Skoka good on the first. Skoka appeared in all 30 games last year for Bryant, started 10 of them.
The 2-3 zone here from Bryant. You know, the foul trouble, they're already in. Duke already in the bonus. And that's not going to help right there.
No, that's the 18th foul on the Bulldogs. Plumlee goes to the line 1-1. Skoka picks up his 2nd foul. Mentioned some of the rule changes in the 2015-16 season and how it might help a driver. A bunch of different aspects of the game affected. Flopping there, you see addressed. The shot clock changed from 35 to 30. I know that's a rule that you don't think is going to have a ton of effect on the game necessarily. We haven't seen it come into play at all yet tonight. Timeouts have been changed. The way that media timeouts are constructed. So they've really taken a global view of this game and tried to modify it in a way that's going to make it a little bit more entertaining for the fans.
Yeah, we'll see the impact all of it has. some changes that people have been asking for. Now a directive to create more freedom of movement. We'll have to wait and see exactly what the impact is.
If nothing else, it is having an impact on the number of fouls called, certainly.
Oh, we saw that a few years ago when that was what they wanted to do. It wasn't the directive, it is now. And of course the officials lost a little bit of the resolve that they had to start the year. But I mean, this is the problem. And when you're playing only halves, when you've got 20-minute halves, those fouls aren't going to reset. So both these teams are now in the bonus for the remaining 9 minutes of this half.
Speaking of rule changes, the women's game actually went to a 4-quarter system, but obviously the men have remained at 20-minute halves as Plumlee blocks his second shot of the night, and the Blue Devils are off and running. Matt Jones spotting up for three. Got it!
Now it's defense leading to offense. Great anticipation on the shot clock by Marshall Plumlee. And 2 or 3 times tonight, we've seen Duke in early offense spacing for threes.
Ware spots up for three, in and out, and Thornton grabs the rebound. He'll push the tempo. Thornton goes glass. Emil Jefferson, another offensive rebound for the Blue Devils. 9 on the night. Goes to work in the paint. That one no good. Plumlee tips it once, gets it back one more time, and he'll earn 2 free throws.
Both those guys, Marshall Plumlee and Emil Jefferson, have been relentless on that glass, both in this game and throughout the early part of this season. They are hungry for that basketball.
Foul on Coster, his second, so 3 Bulldogs on the court right now with 2, Coster, Garvin, and Skoka. Emil Jefferson takes a seat. Chance for Brandon Ingram to play with 2 fouls. All part of the learning process for the freshman. As the Blue Devils have separated themselves a bit, now up 15 with under 8 minutes to go here in the first half. McLaughlin, good kick there. Ware for 3. That one's good. Hunter Ware unafraid.
You talked to Tim O'Shea about Ware, and Ware was so unselfish last year. He accepted his role coming off the bench, playing behind Starks, but he's ready for his moment.
Coach Tim O'Shea can't believe his team has been called for another foul. Duke now in the double bonus for the next 7 minutes and 34 seconds. Defense turning into offense.
I mean, look at this. Just the shot block there, and on the other end, the open 3, the spacing, Duke creating early on.
Duke leads by 12 at home. Hunter Ware keeping the Bulldogs close. He's got 2 threes, 8 points on the night. That is tied for a game high along with Matt Jones and Brandon Ingram. This is all part of the 2K Classic. There you see the tournament bracket. Tournament, somewhat of a loose term because Wisconsin and Georgetown have actually already lost this year. Both of them upset, and yet they will advance to New York, Madison Square Garden, and pretty stacked field.
Yeah, well, Wisconsin losing to Western Illinois last night. Georgetown losing to Radford today. So both those teams going down in upsets, and of course Duke in a matchup against VCU. VCU with a new head coach in Will Wade. But they're going to play a lot of the same style and system, the full court press, in-your-face, 94-feet defense. And they returned 4 starters as well from that group last year. So it should be a good one there, Duke VCU.
National championship game rematch, very possible in Madison Square Garden. Should Wisconsin and Duke both advance as Brandon Ingram toes the charity stripe.
The Wisconsin example is such a good one. I mean, just how hard it is to maintain success. I mean, this is a team in Wisconsin who's been to 2 Final Fours, and they're going to be good. I mean, I'm not driving a referendum here because they lose to Western Illinois, but again, they return Nigel Hayes, Bronson Koenig, and really a bunch of unknowns. So maintaining success, not as easy as it looks.
Hunter Ware off to the races. The Blue Devils try to get back in transition. Frank Kaminsky, Sam Decker both moving on, critical pieces of the Badgers team. But you said it, Bo Ryan will have them fixed come tournament time, no question. Matt Jones gets a hand on that one. Brandon Ingram ahead to Jones with the finish.
Yeah, we mentioned Duke on a back-to-back. They've come out with great energy on the defensive end. And really, this lead that they've blown this to has started with the defense. The shot blocks from Plumlee, the active hands right there from Jones, leading to offense on that other end.
Three-point attempt by Riley is good. Riley, one of the tallest players on Bryant's team at 6'8", showing range there. He appeared 17 games last season at 7 starts.
And the threes have kept them in it.
Shooting altogether has really kept them in it. 8 of 15 from the floor, 4 of 6 from 3, as you mentioned. Duke has not shot the ball particularly well, but they have rebounded at an excellent pace thus far. Not that time, though, as the Bulldogs come the other way. McLaughlin running the offense. Duke aware of Riley this time. Once again, Hunter Ware. Offensive rebound this time for Bryant, but Plumlee clears the glass. Duke by 12, just over 6 minutes to go. Matt Jones spots up for 3. That one's good.
It just starts with the Thornton drive. Again, when you talk to opposing coaches, one of the most difficult things to prepare for against Duke is how you guard the spacing, because you have to stay home on shooters. Another nice pass right there.
And McLaughlin with the finish.
You have to stay home on those Duke shooters, but you also are in between helping on the drives. It just puts so much pressure on the defense.
Bryant has run some good stuff. They're getting themselves good opportunities, good looks inside the paint. Hit Duke a couple of times in the back cut. Had some open threes. It's what's really kept this game as close as it's been, despite the 8 turnovers for the Bulldogs to this point. Ware one more time. Looking for that backdoor cut one more time. Brandon Ingram keen to it. Ware fires the 3. Thornton with the rebound. Brandon Ingram thought about the 3. Has hit both of his 3-point attempts tonight. He is fouled as he heads to the rim. Skoka thought he was straight up in the air. Instead, Ingram heads straight to the free throw line.
Well, Brandon Ingram wanted to shoot that shot at the top, but the coachable part told him to drive it, and this is what you get when you drive that basketball. Again, it's what do? I mean, you're not going to be able to block the shot. You try to get your hands up, you try to get vertical, and good players just know how to create that contact and get themselves to the foul line.
Ingram will shoot Duke's 13th and 14th free throws of the game. 2 players now for the Bulldogs with 3, Skoka and Garvin. 2 very important players for them, 2 starters. They will have to navigate the rest of this game with only 2 fouls to spare, and likely that both of them will not see the court again in the final 5 minutes of the first half. With the increased emphasis on rules, maybe some more ticky-tack fouls, particularly on the perimeter, figures to test the depth of some of these teams, because if guys are going to pick up maybe 2 quickies in the first half and have to sit the bench, different guys are going to have to step up and play bigger minutes. Ware didn't know what he was doing in the air with that one. Thornton comes away with it. Matt Jones. Chase Jeter the finish. Jeter with 4 points. Makes his first field goal an emphatic one. Slipping toward the basket was Petway, knocked away by Jones. But Bryant will maintain possession.
You know, Bryant running a lot of wing ball screens, and Duke ices those, so they're trying to push it to the baseline. What that does, and here's this offensive play on the other end. Chase Jeter just stays with it, follows the play, and a nice follow-up. Bryant getting Duke into playing a lot of chase. You got to have that active weak side to come across on those ices on the wing ball screen.
Duke by 17, make it 15 as Ware gets into the lane. He has been very effective on the offensive end, 4 of 7 now from the field. 10 points for the sophomore out of Georgia. McLaughlin trying to draw the foul, and instead Grayson Allen hits the pull-up jump shot.
So under control. On balance, under control, nice spin, and because he's on balance, able to go straight up and down on that shot.
That's going to be a foul on Emil Jefferson as Coster draws the foul. 43-26 the score, 3.5 to go. We'll take a break with the players. Hunter Ware keeping his team in it. He's got 10 on the night to go along with an assist. Tim O'Shea in his 8th season at Bryant has helped establish them as one of the really solid programs in the Northeast Conference, and a program that's really unafraid to play anybody. We've already talked about how they've played the defending national champion the last 2 seasons to open up the regular season in UConn and Duke. They will also go on to play 6 teams this year that made the NCAA tournament last season. They play 5 teams that are currently receiving votes or in the top 25. The Bulldogs will play anybody at any time.
Well, Bryant and Robert Morris are the only 2 teams to finish in the last 3 seasons with both a winning record and a top 4 finish in the NEC. And remember, this is a program that went Division I 3 years ago. So the winning tradition that he has established there, and he's been able to continue it year after year. And again, expect another top 4 finish out of this 2015-16 version of Bryant.
First free throw on the 1-and-1 is good. 3.5 to go here in the first half. Off the iron on that one from Coster. Coster, the sophomore from Melbourne, Australia. Again, earning a start in the last 12 games last year. Grayson Allen, corner 3.
Duke emphasized after their first exhibition game, they wanted to make the extra pass. They wanted to share the basketball, and they have done that tonight. That ball moves around that perimeter from hand to hand.
Blue Devils already as many 3-point field goals as they had in the entire game against Siena, half a dozen to this point. That one rejected. Derek Thornton denied by Zuzwa. Back the other way comes Zuzwa into the lane, and with the finish, Desiree Zuzwa, the freshman, showing offense and defense. Entry pass denied by Petway. Looks like he'll be whistled for the foul, and he will. That'll be the second foul on Petway, as Marshall Plumlee will go back to the line to shoot 2.
You know, the different lineups that Duke can show you here, they're going small. Kennard, probably their second tallest player out there. Of course, they start 2 big guys in Jefferson and Plumlee. They've gone at times small with Ingram at the 4, so just showing a variety of different lineups.
Plumlee hits the first free throw. 71% free throw shooter last year. Much improved free throw stroke. There you see what he's done tonight thus far. That one's off the iron, and a good rebound there. Back the other way, McLaughlin sends it ahead. Blue Devils get a hand on it in the paint. And Kennard regains possession for Duke. 2:10 to go in the first half. Grayson Allen, lefty. He is fouled. He'll shoot 2 as Zuzwa called for his second foul.
Again, just another example of the inability of the defense to shrink the floor. You can't bring help because you've got to stay home on shooters, and the lone guy in the paint for Duke is Marshall Plumlee. So anytime that drive goes to the basket, you're either getting fouled, you're scoring, or if you miss, Plumlee is coming over to clean it up. So it's been a tough guard the last game and a half here for both Siena and Bryant.
Saw 4 steals already for Grayson Allen in this game. Has been very active on the defensive end. Now 5 of 5 on the free throw line. Make it 6 for 6. And if you want to up your scoring average, improve your free throw percentage. Almost half of Grayson Allen's points coming via the free throw line tonight. Straightaway three from Riley. That one's too long. A couple of different Blue Devils after it. Ends up in the hands of Thornton. Under 2 to go here in the first half. Blue Devils have widened the lead to 20. Continuing to dominate on the glass. 23-10 now in total rebounds. Allen kicks it to the corner. Matt Jones for three again. 4 threes on the evening for Matt Jones here in the first half.
A guy who's been battling a little bit of a groin issue. They love to see him in this lineup. He's the brain center. I mean, he's one of their big-time leaders. Got a good voice, smart player.
Tough three, but a good rebound and finish there by Riley. 52-31, 63 seconds to go. And then Riley fouls Plumlee at the other end. First foul of the night on Riley. Marshall Plumlee will head back to the line, where he is 4 of 6 thus far.
This is the play, just the baseline skip, the spacing. You see Kennard and Jones just spaced on that side. And as the help comes, you hit whoever's open there. Nice delivery from Grayson. And Matt Jones steps in, knocks it down.
Jones struggled a bit his freshman season shooting behind the arc, but last season as a sophomore and now this year, much improved shooter. Already an excellent defender, very versatile, can defend pretty much 1 through 4 for the Blue Devils. Also has the ability to hit those outside shots, as we've got a timeout on the floor with 58 seconds to go.
Well, he's one of those guys, right? There's not a lot of flash to what he does. He's not a playmaker. He's not going to create his own shot. But what he does is he's disciplined with what he's supposed to do, keeps his spacing. Right here just shows you, like you said, he's an improved shooter. Is he a knockdown guy you got to chase out on? Not necessarily, but he can get it going like he has tonight. His gift, though, is on that defensive end, man. He can really get after you, get into your shorts, especially when you have he and Derek Thornton out there. Just look at that, nice release, and he's feeling it here tonight, Ryan.
5 of 9 thus far this season from behind the line. 4 of 5 tonight. Great start for Matt Jones. He's got a game-high 16. And that's from a guy, like you said, he's not necessarily known for that. So 16 points from him is excellent production from a guy that you know what you're going to get on everything else. Yeah, if you can get 16 points, though, you're feeling pretty good.
And what's he done? He has stepped in and hit open shots, right? It's not complicated. It's a simple game when you can create the spacing, step in, knock down an open shot.
Oakley Jr., Curtis Oakley Jr., the nephew of Charles Oakley, former New York Knick great. Matt Jones once again, 5 of 6 now from downtown.
The early offense threes for Duke tonight have been huge. I mean, if you're opposing defense, if you're Bryant in this second half, you have got to identify shooters in transition.
Crowd didn't like it, but it did look like McLaughlin did get hit on the head as he was headed up for the layup. By the way, Matt Jones, previous career high 17. I say previous, he's already got 19 here in the first half.
Hey, here's the miss, and then this is what we're saying. Look at the delivery. Grayson pushes, Marshall runs to the rim, and everybody else is spaced around the perimeter. And out, Grayson gets into that lane. Jones stays disciplined and a nice little shovel pass behind. And how many times have we seen Duke do that tonight? Threes out of that early offense.
The task was going to be tall for Bryant coming into this one, but if Duke is going to shoot 8 of 11 from the three-point line, it becomes that much more difficult for Coach Tim O'Shea to get the program's second win against the ACC.
Well, this is, I mean, this is how inconsistent shooting is. It's why it's the most inconsistent part of the game. Duke plays last night, so what, less than 24 hours ago, and they go 6 of 25. Here they come out like a ball of fire. It's why you can't rely on it, but it can be a supplemental part of any team.
57-32 the score. There is Coach O'Shea talking to his team. Coach K taking time out to set up perhaps the final shot of the first half. 21 and a half to go, so the shot clock is turned off. thoughts on a final play maybe for the Blue Devils? I'm thinking it's something with Grayson Allen creating.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, my guess is they'll just run the little drag screen at the top. We've also seen them just give the ball to Brandon Ingram at these moments and allow him to just operate, get into the lane, rise up, and with that length, shoot over the top. A lot of options, Ryan.
The only thing you might be concerned about for the Blue Devils, you just don't want Matt Jones or Brandon Ingram picking up their third foul with something on the offensive end. 3 Bulldogs with 2 fouls as well. Zuzwa, Coster, and Petway. 16 seconds to go in the half. Thornton with the ball.
And no big guy in for Duke. All guards.
Grayson Allen turns the corner into the lane, righty layup good.
And that's what it creates. You can space all those guards out there. You got 5 guys out on the perimeter, nobody at the rim to protect, and a nice right-handed drive by Grayson Allen.
Grayson Allen finishes the half in style. He's got 15. The Blue Devils have 59. They lead by 27 here at the half as the nation's number 5 look to go 2-0 on the season. Well on their way behind the dynamic. This is the ACC on ESPN. And welcome back to the second half here in Cameron Indoor Stadium. 20 minutes on the clock, 27 points the differential. Both teams set to take the floor. Ryan Craig along with Chris Spatola. Busy next week for not only the Blue Devils, but for you, Chris. You head down to South Carolina to call that game against Oral Roberts in the SEC Network. And here we look back just a bit before we look ahead to those games at the players to watch that we mentioned top of the broadcast, Brandon Ingram and Dan Garvin.
Yeah, Garvin a little bit, you know, we said he's undersized, so in this game it's been a tough matchup for him.
Foul trouble really has been the issue.
He got the 3 fouls, which really killed him. But again, a lot of that a product of just being a little bit undersized in this game.
Good defense there by Skoka on Marshall Plumlee. So Garvin and Skoka on the floor with 3. Obviously not much choice for Coach Tim O'Shea. He needs to have them out there, particularly Garvin. Matt Jones thought about the 3. Wanted a player to come over to rescue him, and he's upset with himself because that one will be mentioned to him a couple of times in the locker room, I would imagine. So a turnover for the Blue Devils on their first possession of the second half. McLaughlin, 5 points in the first half, pair of assists. Skoka draws the foul.
You know, Bryant's run some good stuff. I mean, they really do run good offense. They keep moving without the basketball. They force you to guard multiple actions. I mean, this is just a nice job right here. Gets to the basket, Skoka rolls, and gets himself to the foul line. Just they've run some good stuff. It's just the inability to finish in that first half.
Jefferson with his 3rd foul, first Blue Devil with 3. Looks like Coach K will let him play with that 3rd foul to this point. To me, it really boils down turnovers, rebounding, and Duke's 3-point shooting. All 3 of those very much in the Blue Devils' favor. And as you can imagine, so was the score.
Well, they rebounded their misses, right? I mean, not only did they shoot well, but when they missed, they were the ones gathering the board. It's going to make for a 59-point half.
Foul on the Bulldogs. Going to be on Kotzer, it looks like. Excuse me, Coster. That'll be 3 on Coster. So now 3 players for Bryant with 3. He'll come off. Zuzwa will come on. Grayson Allen working against McLaughlin. Into the paint he goes one more time. Tries to draw the contact and does. And Grayson Allen is going to live at the free throw line if the game is going to be officiated the way it seems like it's been officiated through the first 2 games of the season. Just continues to draw contact.
He just has that ability to look like he's being fouled even more than he is. Just that knack that a lot of good scorers do that gets him to that foul line. I said in the first half, he's one of those guys you kind of want to have him play in bubble wrap because he does take a beating, a lot of that of his own doing.
Bulked up a little bit over the offseason, put on 10 or 15 pounds. Interesting to see if he loses any of that elite athleticism, although he did have a couple of highlight dunks against Siena last night, so
hasn't looked like
not a huge concern, I wouldn't think. But does have the ability now to take the abuse as he heads to the cup. Marshall Plumlee, that's at least 3 now that he has blocked. As Grayson Allen's free throw streak.
I mean, this is just, he's on a guard right here. And he moves his feet and gets the shot block. That's been the thing that's most impressive to me with Marshall Plumlee. I mean, look, his size, he's gotten bigger. His ability to move his feet. His brothers were such good athletes. You never really knew how Marshall would develop and grow into his body, but he has looked so good in the early going. Of course, that play notwithstanding.
Yeah, we'll just cancel that one from our minds. Garvin, though, with the follow. Just his second field goal.
Well, that's the key. I mean, for Bryant, we talked about Kotzer and Garvin. Between them, they only have 5 points combined.
Marshall Plumlee must have heard us up here, and that was his answer. A two-hand jam. 6 points to go along with that trio of blocks. Matt Jones called for a foul. Now, one guy that could be negatively affected by the rule changes is somebody like a Matt Jones. Does like to be a little bit physical on the perimeter, try to slow a ball handler down, as you see the nice feed.
Pick and roll here, yeah. I mean, just that's basketball 101. You know, you get the wing ball screen. Marshall rim runs right to the front of the rim and gets himself a dunk.
Ware continues to fire away from three-point land. He's got 3 threes on the evening, 3 of Bryant's 5. He is their high scorer with 13.
Well, he talked about Garvin and Kotzer being shut down tonight. You know, a game like that, you need somebody else to step up. Ware has certainly shown some flashes.
McLaughlin picks up the foul, trying to guard Brandon Ingram on the perimeter. Basket won't count. Foul was on the floor as Ware continues to fire away.
On the ball screen there, Marshall just a little bit late. I'll tell you what.
And that'll be a flagrant. Marshall Plumlee's been through Army training over the summer, so that won't affect him much. Thought about the alley-oop dunk, regathered himself instead, draws the foul.
Yeah, I mean, that's a flagrant one right there. Just grabbed him around the neck.
Difference between flagrant 1 and 2 at the college level, both actually result in 2 free throws in the ball, but flagrant 2 would be the automatic ejection. That's certainly not worthy of being tossed from the game, but excessive contact, and Plumlee goes to the free throw line.
Yeah, I mean, come down, if you want to lay the foul, which he clearly wanted to do, you know, sort of take a hack at his arms there, but to grab him and really up around that neck, they're not going to put up with that, especially in this building.
Especially not in this day and age. So much attention paid to the neck and head area. Plumlee misses both free throws, but Duke will still have possession. That's the 4th foul on Skoka. First player for either team with 4. 63-38 to score. Under 18 to go in the second half. Ingram. Another offensive rebound for the Blue Devils as McLaughlin comes down awkwardly on the ankle. Grayson Allen heads back to the free throw line, and Zuzwa has his palms turned up like, how am I supposed to guard this guy if you're going to call that a foul?
Marshall Plumlee and Emil Jefferson are collecting everything on the offensive glass.
15 rebounds total between the two of them. And on the offensive end, 10. So they have done yeoman's work on the offensive glass, as that may have been a Grayson Allen missed free throw, something that has not been seen very often here in the recent going. McLaughlin looks to be okay after rolling the ankle. Blue Devils up 26 in the second half. Zuzwa with the three. Has not been a poor shooting night for Bryant. If you had told them they'd shoot 50% from the field, 46% from three, I'm sure they would have taken it. And we've got an equipment issue along the baseline. That'll stop play temporarily. It's just been all those other factors that we've talked about that has allowed Duke to expand this lead to where it's at.
I mean, we've seen this in 2 games now where Grayson Allen, he's a 1-foot jumper. When he gets to his spot, his ability to extend and explode to the basket is uncanny.
Grayson now with 20 on the night, second straight game to start the season with 20 plus. (66-41) the score, 16 and a half to go here in the second half. Ware one more time. Thornton clears the glass. Thornton thinks about the three, kicks it out. Grayson Allen. Pull-up jump shot from the elbow, no good. Plumlee gets a hand on that one. Allen one more time, high off the glass. Back comes McLaughlin. Zuzwa trying to finish. Offensive rebound that time for the Bulldogs. Petway with the finish.
You know, Bryant's done a nice job pushing the ball. I mean, they've gotten themselves, they've had a tough time scoring in a half court, but there have been opportunities when they've pushed it.
Thornton, that one's set back by Petway, but Ingram responds.
I want to check Ingram's pulse. It doesn't look like
Somebody wake him up.
I mean, it just, the way he shoots it, and you know he's playing hard, but man.
Thornton for three. And Grayson Allen, or at least some Blue Devil, called for the foul. Ingram with 14 has not missed a three-point shot yet tonight. He has hit all three that he has taken. Showing the shot from distance. Duke by 26 here in the second half, 15:32 to go. As Duke tries to go 2-0 before its big matchup with Kentucky in the Champions Classic. Next college football playoff top 25 rankings show presented by Goodyear Tuesday night from the United Center in Chicago. That is where the Champions Classic will be. Your chance to see the top 4 of the rest of the rankings revealed live. Join Reese and the guys, 9:30 Eastern on ESPN in between the Champions Classic games. Also streaming live on Watch ESPN. Number 2 Kentucky, number 5 Duke first. And then before Kansas and Michigan State tip off, you can see if there's any change in the top 4. All 4 of the top 4 did win this week. Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State, and Notre Dame. But that hasn't stopped a shift in the rankings before, so be sure to tune in. In the meantime, Duke 26 points to the good here in the 2K Classic. They're on their way to New York City to finish up the back end of this tournament, regardless of what would have happened tonight. Oklahoma, by the way, leading Baylor at this point. Speaking of the college football rankings, that could have a lot of an effect on what happens, particularly as it relates to the Big 12. Jefferson, triple team. Luke Kennard, wing 3. Another offensive rebound for the Blue Devils in the putback. Story of the evening.
Well, Emil had a guard on him down there. Shane McLaughlin was caught on him. You really don't want it. They helped off of Kennard. They got lucky that he missed that 3, and here he is on the other end.
Kennard not going to miss that one.
Well, we haven't called his name a lot tonight, but guys who can score the ball, they find ways to get themselves some buckets.
Just the first 2 points of the evening for Kennard. Garvin working down low, goes to the right hand, baby hook, nothing doing. Stay right here. A lot of times when guys are missing perimeter shots, you can create offense for yourself with plays like this.
Well, just to poke away. This is Duke of old, contesting the passing lane. And again, we haven't called his name a lot tonight, but Kennard gets himself an easy one there.
One of the 7 McDonald's All-Americans on the roster for the Blue Devils. 2015 Parade National Player of the Year. And another member of that top-ranked recruiting class, according to the ESPN recruiting rankings. Blue Devils by 30, largest lead of the night. Trying to expand it here. Ingram, two-handed. Timeout, Bryant. Blue Devils starting to create offense from their defense. Another steal by Kennard. Last time he finished it himself. This time he finds Ingram for the two-hand slam. Duke has shot the ball well tonight, shooting almost 50% from the field, 9 of 14 from the three-point line. But they're getting it done defensively as well. Chris, you mentioned we hadn't called Luke Kennard's name very often tonight, but he's made back-to-back plays that has created offense for his team.
Well, Duke's forced 14 turnovers tonight. They have 18 points off of those turnovers. And along with that three-point shooting, it's a big part of why they're winning, turning defense into offense.
And you know, as a former member of a college basketball staff, sometimes there are two different kinds of turnovers. Dead ball turnovers, live ball turnovers. Duke's got 10 steals on the night, and they're allowing themselves to score easy buckets. It's not like they're having to take the ball out of bounds.
No, they've been engaged defensively. I mean, again, I think Coach K and this staff believe this team can be very good on that defensive end. They have the ability to pressure the ball. They're all alert, they're active, and again, another turnover. That looked like a goal.
Yeah, there you go. Tape delay for a second there for the referees, but yes, eventually the goaltend called. Thornton's second field goal of the night. Riley will check back in. Skoka comes out. So you see another look. Once again, live ball turnover.
Well, and it starts with the ball pressure. I mean, Derek Thornton's into the ball handler, the little poke away. And they're all alert. I mean, we've seen it in several games to start this year. Just active hands, guys off the ball, being alert. 5 guys guarding the basketball.
McLaughlin, and now it's Garvin. 4 points to go along with 5 rebounds for the junior. And there's another 3, Gus Riley. Second 3 ball of the game. That ends an 11-0 run for the Blue Devils, who have made their last 4 shots. Luke Kennard, top of the key. And Emil Jefferson being held underneath. And that'll be Riley's second.
And this is, you know, again, for Bryant, they lost so much scoring. I mean, they lose the league's leading scorer last year in the NEC and Starks. You got to find it from somewhere. And how about Emil Jefferson on this side? He's just so relentless. I remember when I was on staff recruiting Emil, and he has become exactly what you thought he was going to be when you saw him in high school. He's not going to wow a casual fan, but he does all the dirty work. He's relentless on the glass, and he's developed a really nice game.
22 rebounds in the first 2 games for him this season. Obviously still plenty of time to go in this one. See how much he plays the rest of the way. Go to double digits. Going to the left hand that time, and 1. Had a double-double in game 1, 19 points, 12 rebounds. On pace to do the same tonight. Those were points 5 and 6, and he'll go to the free throw line looking for number 7.
This is a nice drive there with his left hand, and we've seen him, how crafty he is around the basket with his finishes. He is. I mean, I remember going into gyms watching him when he was in high school, and he's not an electrifying athlete. In fact, he's a lot thicker than he was when he was in high school. He was so thin. He looked like a deer, just a young deer coming out of the womb. I mean, he just had no control over his body. But you knew that he was going to be, I mean, he was a leader, he was animated even back then. You knew he was going to be something. And he's just worked through this process. He's now a national champion, and you know, he's the heart and soul of this team. You know as well as anybody the philosophy at Duke. Guys run their own races. Some guys are one and done types. They leave to go to the NBA. Saw 3 of those last year. Other guys are 4-year players. And Emil Jefferson has personified what you'd want to see out of a 4-year player. Continuing to develop physically, develop his game, find a niche, be a good leader. And now he's one of the captains of this team as Duke tries to go back-to-back. Jeter with his back to the basket, finishing through contact. This is just an example of a guy being physically overpowered. I mean, Gus Riley has no chance there. And then you see the animation. He is the most animated of all the freshmen. I mean, you don't really, joked earlier about checking Ingram's pulse. You don't have to check Chase Jeter, man. He's going to show you, he's going to wear it all outside on that jersey.
Jeter now with 7. A perfect 3 for 3 from the free throw line. Duke 22 of 28 from the charity stripe after going 26 of 36 last night. And a nice finish inside there by Petway.
Yeah, and a nice pass. This is a good passing Bryant team. They've shown the ability to be unselfish, and they run good stuff.
Kennard hits the pull-up jump shot. He can score in a lot of ways.
You know, the preseason is so long, and I think you're seeing, certainly from the Duke team, the chance to play against an opponent 2 nights in a row has energized them. Yeah, I think a back-to-back later in the year may have, you know, some issues with fatigue and so on and so forth. At this point in the season, guys just want to play. The preseason is so long.
Game has had a little bit more flow to it as well. Not as many fouls called as Ware fires one more time, that time at the buzzer. 4th three-pointer of the evening for him. He's got 16. Hunter Ware looks like he's going to be an important part of what Bryant does. If they can get that 3rd scorer, they're off and running in the NEC. Coster and Garvin, kind of the known quantities for them as Marshall Plumlee is fouled. But Ware providing some energy and offense for the Bulldogs. 16 points on 6 of 11 shooting. He's hit 4 three-pointers. Bryant down big in this one. Hunter Ware still playing his heart out here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Duke by 33. 30 here with over 10.5 minutes to go, well on their way to the century mark and a 2-0 record as we look at the non-conference schedule for the Duke Blue Devils. We'll see if Wisconsin stays in the top 25 after their upset loss. But as it stands right now, Duke will play 4 top 17 teams in the non-conference portion of their schedule, potentially, including Indiana here in Cameron Indoor Stadium as part of the ACC Big Ten Classic. Number 2 ranked Kentucky in the Champions Classic, which we've talked about a couple of different times tonight. And without being too presumptuous, a Blue Devil team that is likely to make the NCAA tournament, these early season non-conference games are a great opportunity to start to build that resume, particularly as it relates to seeding late in the season.
Well, that's a tough schedule. I mean, Yale's going to be a favorite in the Ivy League. You know, obviously Kentucky is a top 5 team. I mean, it's just VCU. We talked about the style that they play is always tough. Utah State's going to be a top 5 team in the Mountain West. So that schedule is going to challenge them. And the good thing about it, if you're Duke, especially what you want out of your non-conference, is you're going to see a variety of different styles, a variety of different types of teams.
Thornton gets into the paint, lefty floater no good, and Riley with the rebound. And that's part of it too, seeing different styles, learning about your team and how you stack up against the various things that you're going to come across, not only in conference play, but on through the postseason.
Well, and they're playing an NEC team tonight is Duke, and they, of course, played an NEC team in the first round of the tournament in Robert Morris. And Bryant actually had a better record last year in conference than Robert Morris.
Yeah, for those of you joining us later in the broadcast, that corner 3 by Zuzwa is good. His 4th 3 of the night. So 2 players with 4 3-point field goals apiece in Ware and Zuzwa. But if you missed at the top of the broadcast, this is a Bryant team picked to finish 3rd in the NEC. They did have a first-place vote. They actually finished ahead of Robert Morris, as you said, last year. In the regular season rankings, Marshall Plumlee called for the travel.
Well, they're athletic. They have good interior players, a little physically overmatched in this game tonight, but Garvin, a good returning player inside. They've got an experienced, steady point guard in McLaughlin, so they should do very well in that conference. Just the 5th turnover of the evening for the Blue Devils, compared to 10 assists. Good ratio for them. Another 3-pointer. This time off the mark by Riley. Offensive rebound, though, for the Bulldogs, and Thornton fouls McLaughlin. And if you're Tim O'Shea, you find a guy like Hunter Ware, a guy that came off your bench last year. He's come in tonight, shot the ball well.
Luke Kennard comes out. Chase Jeter off as well. Kennard, a quiet start to the game, but now 6 points, 4 rebounds, saw a couple of steals. Petway throws that one down. .9:15 to go. Margin is 28. Thornton looking for Plumlee, kicks it out. Brandon Ingram spots up for the 3. Another long rebound. Thornton gets his hands on that one, finds Plumlee. Grayson Allen, that one's good.
That's another offensive board that leads to points, and those long rebounds being chased down by guards. You become an infinitely better rebounding team if your guards are willing to stick their nose in there like Derek Thornton just did.
McLaughlin fancy handles, kicks it to the corner. One more time.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good combination. That's a good backcourt right there. Shane McLaughlin, a senior captain, steady point guard. Ware has the ability to score the basketball.
11 threes now for the Bulldogs as Ingram sees that one crawl over the front of the rim. 30-point lead for the Blue Devils, just over 8 minutes to go. Petway in close. Grayson Allen says no, but the follow nicely done by Zouzoua.
I always say this game of basketball is a game of angles. If you have the angle, you have the ability to win. Brandon Ingram is a guy who defies that principle because he doesn't need an angle. He'll just raise up and score over the top.
Emil Jefferson, the height advantage on McLaughlin. Quick double. Ingram one more time in front of the Duke bench. Three-pointer is good. 95-64.
Ingram's a difference maker. He's just unique. And if you have a unique guy, I was saying it, a lot of winning teams, they have that one guy who nobody else has. He doesn't look like anybody else. And that's what Brandon Ingram is, certainly for this Duke team.
3 no good. 7 minutes even. Blue Devils lead by 31 here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Brandon Ingram becomes the second Blue Devil to go over the 20-point mark tonight. 4 of 5 from the three-point line for the freshman. Blue Devils, 5th ranked in the country, looking the part, up 31 on the Bryant Bulldogs. Second game of the 2K Classic, going much the same as the first, if not a little bit better, as Duke continues to find their rhythm. Talked about the tough non-conference schedule for the Blue Devils. That's just to get to conference play. Once they get there, probably the strongest conference in the country, 3 of the top 6 teams out of the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Yeah, and that's not to mention, the likes of Miami. We saw Pitt play last night. Of course, we saw them play a half of the basketball against Gonzaga. You see there at 9. I think Pitt's going to surprise a lot of folks. They were preseason 10 in the ACC. I think they're better than that. I think it's an older ACC, Duke being one of the few young teams.
And North Carolina brings back a lot of pieces. Marcus Page with a broken hand, but he'll be back in a couple of weeks.
And
Malcolm Brogdon in Virginia.
So does Virginia, yeah. Miami does as well. Florida State's going to be better.
Another offensive board for Emil. Another three-point attempt. That one goes awry. And Hunter Ware escapes with the ball. Off glass. Ware continues to impress. 21 now for Hunter Ware. 8 of 13 from the field, 5 of 9 behind the three-point line. Emil Jefferson, the right-hand baby hook.
Just so smooth, under control. That's the thing. I mean, he and Marshall Plumlee are so under control, something that they were not early in their careers when they gather it on that block. And it gives them the ability to either finish, get crafty with either hand, or be passers out of there.
Emil Jefferson a point away from his second straight double-double to open the season. Petway working on Jefferson in the low block. Goes with the lefty off glass. Plumlee clears the boards. 8 rebounds now for the third Plumlee brother to play basketball here at Duke.
Yeah, I was joking that Emil, when he first got here, when he was in high school, when he first got to Duke, had no control over his body. Marshall, much of the same way.
Kennard, long three. Duke starting to show its versatility now as they hit the century mark. 7 players with 7 or more points. Why not? Hunter Ware, 6 threes.
6 threes, man.
Having himself a game in Cameron, 24 points. Just a sophomore, too. Ingram, Grayson Allen, that three-pointer off the mark. Petway, Hunter Ware. Good dish, Zuzwa from 3. Grayson Allen with the rebound. Kicks it over Emil Jefferson, and there's the double-double. Senior captain, 11 and 11. Go along with 19 and 12 that he had last night against Siena.
And he's been battling an ankle injury as well. So, you know, the other good thing for Duke coming out of this one is you want to feel healthy going into that game Tuesday night. And look at how Emil runs the floor here. Unselfish pass from Allen. And then the finish, again, turning defense into that offense on the other end.
Antonio Brankovic, the freshman, 7-footer, checks in the game for the first time for Duke. We have a foul call. See what's on. Chase Jeter picks up the foul, his second. His 6th foul for the Blue Devils, so Bryant 1 away from shooting free throws the rest of the half. 19 fouls for the Bulldogs, and Brankovic comes away with the steal. 102-69, 4:13 to go. Seeing a zone defense again for the Bulldogs. Dribble handoff, Grayson Allen trying to get in the paint against that zone, tosses up a shot, and Brankovic rebounds and puts it in. Grayson Allen trying to draw contact. Brankovic with the finish and another whistle. 104-69 the score. We're at the under 4 timeout here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. The freshmen with the 2 most recent points for the Blue Devils. They're on their way to 2-0. 104-69 the score. Duke is going to beat Bryant and move to 2-0 on the season as they prepare for their showdown at Champions Classic with the number 2 Kentucky Wildcats. Tonight after Washington State takes on the 19th ranked UCLA Bruins. Keep it locked to Sports Center at night for all the highlights and reactions from a very busy day in college football, the NBA and NHL. Sports Center at night kicks off after the game. It's also streaming live on Watch ESPN. College football Saturday, especially as you get down these last couple of weeks. A college football playoff committee. Everybody wonders who's going to end up in the national semifinals. The ACC looking pretty good right now with the Clemson Tigers. As it stands, the Big Ten and SEC also represented. Notre Dame in there, as it stands right now, is an independent. 104-69, 3:33 to go here in the second half. Hunter Ware, who has been Bryant's best player, kicks it out to Zuzwa, who's probably been their second best player. Petway can't finish that one. Derek Thornton comes away with it. Ahead to Brankovic, good footwork there. And a nice finish for the freshman big.
Duke's bigs have done a nice job running rim to rim. There, Brankovic goes from one end to the front of the rim on the other. And a nice delivery here. Look at this, just one-handed and a tough angle on the delivery to Brankovic.
Brankovic, a guy whose father played in the NBA, won a couple of silver medals playing for Yugoslavia in the '88 and '92 Olympics, so has the genetics for the game. as Derek Thornton, a guy continuing to try to find himself, wasn't able to come here, as we mentioned, had to finish his schoolwork, so missed summer practice. And really just on a crash course, having to try to figure out how to play the game at the college level.
Well, he's a great worker. He's got a good attitude. It's been a lot to process for him. And I think that the point guard transition from high school to college is one of the toughest transitions. So he just needed to slow down a little bit, which he has done.
And here comes Thornton. Thornton has not shot the ball well to start the season.
But it's, that's not what he does best. The other thing is he's going to have to learn, especially at this level and his size, finishes and opportunities in the paint that you had in high school are not going to be the same at this level. So you have to need some time to adjust to what that is.
That three-pointer good by Garvin, as he's now at 8 points to go along with 7 rebounds on the night. Again, foul trouble plaguing him for most of this game. Picked up 2 quick ones early, 3 in the first half. He's only been able to play 22 minutes thus far. Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen 3 points away from matching the best 2-game start to a season in program history. Johnny Dawkins had 55 to begin the year at one point. To the rack.
Oh.
End to end we go. Garvin. Brankovic clears the glass. Allen 1 bucket away now. Has 28 on the evening. Could it be? And Garvin grabs the rebound. You wonder if he's aware of it.
I doubt it. But man, this place was ready to erupt on that one.
Minute 28 to go. A rare miss for Hunter Ware from the 3-point line. Thornton pushes it ahead. Luke Kennard. Nick Paliuka on the floor now, replacing Grayson Allen, who will be 1 point shy of that record. Not that it really matters in the grand scheme of things.
Right into your living room.
Second night in a row. Drops the hammer. Luke Kennard says, I can do that, no problem. Grayson Allen, 26 and 28 to start the season. If there was any question as to whether he's ready to step up and be a major contributor for the Blue Devils this season, he has answered those inquiries quickly. With under a minute to go, Blue Devils lead by 40.
Well, the stakes get raised, Ryan, on Tuesday night in that game against Kentucky for Duke. I'm excited to see that matchup. Some intriguing matchups. I mean, inside for both teams, and then the perimeter. Jamal Murray for Kentucky had a good night last night.
Thornton tried to find Luke Kennard just out ahead of him a bit too much, and Kentucky, a team very much like Duke, having to reload.
Yeah.
That team last year for the Wildcats, many people thought could go undefeated, ended up losing to Wisconsin in the national semifinals. Lost a number of players to the NBA, restocked with a ton of talent. Very intriguing matchup in the Champions Classic. Jump shot good. Levine, listed at number 24 on the roster, and jersey number 23 tonight, his first points. Just about a 1 second difference between shot and game clocks. Luke Kennard says, why wait that long? He shoots a 3, nothing doing. Rebound by McHugh. One more time from in front of his own bench. Levine a bit long with that miss. Derek Thornton the rebound, final seconds. And a dominating win for the Duke Blue Devils over Bryant who is a solid club that will do well in the Northeastern Conference. Again, picked to finish third. They did get a first-place vote in the preseason rankings, but the Blue Devils, a bit too much for them tonight.
Well, they were just physically better than Bryant, but like you said, Bryant showed well. They might have made a find in Hunter Ware, who was terrific tonight for them. And if you're Duke, you got to feel good. I mean, you're going into that game Tuesday night against Kentucky. You got to feel good about your health, feel good about where your defense is. They didn't shoot it well last night, but they come in tonight like a ball of fire.
Two different Blue Devils setting career highs tonight. Matt Jones with 19, besting his previous best of 17. Grayson Allen had 27 last year against Wake Forest, 28 tonight. His free throw streak comes to an end, but he's still 9 of 10 from the line. And there, Chris, you see the final stats. Duke dominating in the paint, forcing a ton of turnovers, and hitting the glass hard throughout.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those, again, physical stats. The defense really imposed its will on Bryant, forcing those 19 turnovers. They scored a lot off of those turnovers. So, a little bit of what we expected here tonight. And we'll see more about this Duke team on Tuesday.
Hunter Ware with 24 on 6 of 11 from behind the three-point line for Bryant, but it wasn't enough. Grayson Allen a career-high 28, Brandon Ingram with 21, Matt Jones 19, Jefferson and Kennard with 11 apiece. For Chris Spazzola, I'm Ryan Craig saying so long from Durham. 113-75, Duke over Bryant. You can check this game out on WatchESPN.com. Thanks for watching.